The Bremer Geschichtenhaus, strictly speaking, means story house, but it's the house of tales, legends, and the history of our town. We present the history of our town by enacting it in part and mainly by a form of telling stories, storytelling. In that respect, we're more like a theatre, working with props and decorations and costumes. A lot of love and attention goes into the costumes. On the one hand, we have just under 100 participants. These are people who have been unemployed, were previously unemployed for a long period of time, and they are sent here as kind of a work opportunity that is offered in Germany. It is offered to people who cannot find work the conventional way. Being long-term unemployed makes you almost as unhappy as being chronically ill. The only way to get a decent performance from an amateur is to stick as closely to who they are, how they are, use their behaviors, use their idiosyncrasy.
The students who are coming here will be learning participant observation. So what we do is we just participate. We do whatever people do, like in the Geschichtenhaus, people will be dressing as everybody has to dress in medieval or other costumes. They will experience the different workstations. They will experience what it means to be trained here. And they'll basically, in a couple of days only, which is far too little obviously, but they will basically get some feeling for the situation that people are in here, because they'll be going through some of the same things they are. What I'm trying to teach my students then is that you get a totally different access at what people are prepared and willing to tell you and how they open up towards you once they perceive of you not as the sociologist or the scientist, but as a person who's going through the same things as they are.
We'll be working together with people who are long-term unemployed people. Once you're in that spiral downward, there are psychological mechanisms that kind of nail you down to that bad place in life. People will look at you kind of different than they did before. It's hard to socialize. If you feel awkward, you feel kind of not part of normal society.
I think the most exciting experience about this whole thing till now was the costumes and how well it integrated with the culture over here and the community in general.
I'm feeling very good because I was able to talk to the people whose lives basically hit rock bottom, and this place helps them reintegrate to society. And obviously I've never seen something like this ever in my life.
First of all, getting dressed like those people, that is the most amazing thing for me, because I don't think that I could get this opportunity anywhere else. So first of all, being dressed in an ancient costume or outfit, and then trying to understand their character a bit.
So it breaks down this wall between people, and this it breaks down their shyness and helps them to come out and enjoy themselves. And, yeah.
And I felt more confident about what we were doing, and I think it will help me when I go back to my country.
Rishika, and the most interesting thing I find in the Geschichtenhaus is just how everyone brings history into reality for people, and they make history sound as such like an amusing thing for all ages.
The most interesting experience I had was these kind of activities I can never experience in Japan. So like talking with people, being in a costume, and then walking around the cities, you can never do this in Japan. So it was actually interesting and a great experience for me when I did this.
My name is Rebecca Auburn, and so far the most interesting experience has been talking to a boss who told his life story about coming from Ghana and ending up working here at the age of 55.
People increasingly now, over the past few years, a lot of people have severe psychological burdens, but my question is, who are you and not what's wrong with you? And not to make that too metaphysical, it can be something very simple, like if someone was trained as a carpenter, then maybe I'll encourage him to, or her, to play a carpenter, a historic carpenter. If someone sailed to sea, then he'll be aboard the ship we have in the exhibition. It can also be something deeper than that, and that's very much a process of letting people choose. They have free choice of what they want to do, what their character is going to be, and we let a lot of things develop, and then pick up. It's like you are constantly, like a predator, constantly on the lookout for something that works. It's a sound of the voice that tells you, yeah, this is right, this we keep. So the whole process only makes sense if the work they do here, the acting they do, is a validation of who they are, and not an escape into some sort of fairy tale creature you would like to be. Acting is life, only more so. Well, what do you do when you perform in front of an audience? You do everything you do in real life. You stand up, you sit down, you breathe, you talk, you walk, you laugh, you cry. So acting is exactly like life, but it's intentional. It takes place in a controlled setting, so that it offers an opportunity, or provides a necessity, actually, to change problematic behaviors. Anything from a stammer. It's not a good thing to have if you want to perform in front of an audience, to shyness, to the habit to scream down your entire environment, to make sure that you're heard. It almost necessitates, definitely necessitates communication. If you're not really in touch with your audience, it won't go well. It brings out your charm, because it's very difficult to be in front of an audience and not want to make them love you, or not want to be liked and accepted. So you learn what to do. In many ways, in this controlled environment of a short appearance of about 10 minutes in front of an audience, you can change, you can be different than you are in your everyday life in many different respects. That is what we achieve in the process of training and rehearsal. You've really reached the point where you can do that in front of the audience. You'll do it again and again and again and again. So it's basically, in a way, it's like behavioral training. And then there comes the point where you can take it, well, in yoga you'd say off the mat and into life, off the stage and into life, and it does visibly change people.
So acting is a way of actually faking it until you make it in this situation.
Absolutely.